Hey everyone, welcome to the CLT Life, where we bring the stories of Charlotte area businesses and organizations to you. I'm your host, Jimmy Crappone, and today I'm with Rudy Thoms. He and his wife, Becky, are co-founders of the Autism Strong Foundation, which is a local organization right here in the Charlotte area that benefits families that have children with autism. So Rudy, how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how Autism Strong Foundation got started.
Yeah, we had never had planned on starting a nonprofit, my wife and I. But, like life, we didn't also plan on having a special needs son. And, when we were impacted by it, we decided, we're not going to be a victim of our circumstance. Let's, make the best of it and see how we can help the community. So it really started as a CrossFit workout, if you can believe that. So back in 2013, we went to the owners of our CrossFit gym at the time, S3, still our CrossFit gym today. And we said, hey, can we do a workout to benefit autism? And we just really want people to have some awareness to what autism is, because it's growing and continues to grow. And we just want people to know a little bit about it and know our story. And so he said, sure, absolutely. What do you need? We said, we just need the gym. And so we promoted it for a couple of weeks, and we had about 100 athletes show up, and we raised about $8,000.
Wow.
And it was great. We felt great. People were like, oh, this is really good. They got to meet our son and really learn a little bit about autism. And then we just donated all that money to Autism Speaks, a big, large national nonprofit. So fast forward, we did it again a year later. 200 people showed up. We raised $16,000. So you see, we're doubling the athletes or doubling the money. We once again just gave all that money to Autism Speaks. Year 3 was interesting. Year 3, we held it at BB&T Ballpark. A hurricane hit that same morning.
I remember that. I was there. So just background for people too. My wife and I have helped volunteer.
Yep.
My wife and your wife are great friends, and we've volunteered, helping out with that event a couple of years. And I remember.
Yeah. Hurricane Matthew came through. It was October, and it literally hit that morning. Still over 300 people showed up. We pivoted. We had to do it in the concourse area, the covered areas of BB&T Ballpark, but still over 330 people showed up, and we raised over $30,000. And, once again, we gave all that money to Autism Speaks. But I remember the conversation that my wife and I had on the way home of that event. And we basically felt like we were called to do something different. We had seen the event grow so much that we felt like we wanted to make more of an impact here in the local families. So as good as it felt to give $30,000 to Autism Speaks, a great and big national nonprofit, we just felt like we wanted to see it more locally here in the families that are impacted by autism. And so we decided to take that road and come up with a 501c3 nonprofit, file with the IRS, and go through that whole process, which was a year-long process to get done. And Autism Strong was born.
So that's a local Charlotte area organization that benefits families here in the Charlotte area, correct?
It is. Yep. So that was really.
What do you do with the funds? What do you do with the funds that are raised?
Yeah, we have multiple different ways that we use the funds here locally. Number one is the biggest thing is we provide therapy hours for children that have special needs kids with autism. So as people understand a little bit about autism, a lot of times they need help. So they need a therapist or someone that can help them either learn to speak, learn to cope with things, environments, or what have you. And applied behavioral analysis is probably the most tested and the most well-known therapy for autism. And so but the challenge with that is some families can't afford it, or their insurance doesn't cover it well. So we help. The money goes to help those families that can't afford the therapy. So we have scholarships that pay for that ABA therapy for the children. We have other programs that we rolled out where we provide iPads, therapeutic iPads for families that can't afford iPads. And then we're also looking at some things here in the future that are going to be maybe potentially some camps for children with autism, as well as potentially some high school scholarship, things of that nature. So a lot of good things on the horizon for us.
Cool. So you mentioned the iPads. How does that work? How does that impact the children with autism?
Yeah, I mean, so what people realize when they start learning about autism is there's a lot of cause and effect. So children with autism typically learn differently than those that don't have autism. So like my son, for instance, he likes cause and effect. Cause and effect meaning you hit something, it does something. You hit a button, it makes a sound. You hit something, it makes a sound. And what they found in the world of autism is a lot of families use that as really therapy for their children, where or communication. So if a child wants something, they can communicate through the iPad. So there's apps out there, there's things out there that they can use. A lot of times it's just learning and teaching. So things that where you hit a button that has a letter S on it and it makes the S sound, or it says S. My son uses this all the time. So there's a lot of families that, quite frankly, they just can't even afford an iPad. They can't afford the app or what have you. There's some school systems. A couple of years ago, we donated several Kindles. We work with Amazon, and we donated several Kindles to a local elementary school that had an exceptional children's program, an EC program for kids with special needs that it wasn't in the school budget to have these Kindles, and so we were able to use the funds to donate them to this local school system.
That's awesome. It definitely makes a big impact on their lives.
It does, yeah, for sure.
So the big purpose and goal with Autism Strong Foundation is to help other families. But you're a family with a special needs son, and you have a couple of other kids as well who aren't special needs. How has Autism Strong? How's the foundation and these events that you're doing like AMRAP? How's it impacted your family directly? Not only your son, but your two daughters and wife as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Jimmy, and because when we look at our family, we Landon was diagnosed so early, so it's all we've ever known. So he had challenges in NICU when he was born. He came home on oxygen and heart monitors, so we knew he was going to be different and have some challenges throughout his entire life. So it's all we've ever known. So for us, I work in the medical field. I've been blessed to have really good insurance, and so he obviously is exempt from getting any scholarships, things like that from the foundation. And I'm lucky enough to have insurance that can afford it. But for those families that can't, it's really taxing on them. Do they pay their power bill or do they pay therapy for their children with autism? So that's where we found that Autism Strong could really help out for those families. And, really how LAN has impacted us in our family is, and the families that we come in contact with, is it's really opened their eyes to what is special needs. So when they see someone is different, what does that mean? Why are they different? And how should you interact with those people that are different? And it really is teaching my kids about compassion. It's teaching my kids about being kind for those that are different, understanding why they're different and what makes them different, and ultimately making sure that they provide that kindness and that love and the support for those children that are different. So I think for us, it's really impacted them in a way to see the world from a different lens. And even all their friends that get to know Landon and come to our house, and their families getting to see Landon. And once again, I think that's a ripple effect, and how that in fact impacts their lives moving forward. That I know my girls, their friends will think and look at the world differently because they met Landon, and they know he's different, and they understand the compassion and things and being kind to those that have special needs. So for me, I think it's a ripple effect.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. So we've talked about AMRAP a little bit as the event that was catalyst, that started all this. But Autism Strong is growing, and well, two things. One, I know that AMRAP has evolved to or expanded to other areas. Other people have taken that model in other parts of the country.
Sure.
And then there's another event that you're working on right now coming up in Charlotte. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the first one with AMRAP is, never did I set out one day to say, hey, I want to be the biggest event in Charlotte, or I want to be the most popular, or what have you. It's just people have seen the true genuineness of the event to help other folks that have autism in their life, or just to raise awareness. And they've seen that, and they've seen the genuine nature of it, and they wanted to do it either in their own gym or wanted to come to the event here in Charlotte. Charlotte now is just continuing to grow every year. This year in August, it's going to be another huge event, which is great. It's going to be really, really cool. But what's also been so cool is to see other gyms, like you said, across the country say, hey, I have a child with autism. I would love to host something like this in our gym. And so in 2019, we piloted that. We said, hey, let's try this. Let's see if we can make it work. And it worked exceptionally well. And so obviously 2020 hit, a lot of people put their brakes on gyms and what have you. But we know we're going to be back, and there's going to be a lot of other gyms throughout the country that are going to want to do AMRAP for Autism in their own gym, which just makes me so happy, because what I know is happening behind the scenes is more people are being made aware of what autism is, what it isn't, how it impacts the family. And a lot of times it's driven by a local story, a local family that there has a child with autism or a special needs family that gets to tell their story, and more people get to hear about it, and more people from there will deliver kindness and love to those that have special needs. So for me, that's just absolutely amazing.
And that's the ripple effect that you were just talking about.
It is, yeah.
I find that. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I find that when you do something that's truly genuine, and you're not doing it for accolades, you're not doing it, for any like personal reasons, but just to serve other people. And then, more and more people find out about it. You start talking about it. You find out that other people have similar experiences. The impact just goes so much further than you could ever imagine.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I think that's there are some, charities out there that it's about being the most popular. Like for me, it's never, ever going to be about that. It's going to be about how can we have the best impact. And so, fast forward, you talked about what's our other event here in Charlotte is, when we started AMRAP, we started developing a relationship with Choate Construction Company, and they're a really large commercial-based construction company. I remember meeting with Dave Priester, the CEO, and telling him my story, and then he immediately jumped in, and Choate, the entire company, employee-owned company, jumped in, and they volunteered, they showed up. Even if they hadn't worked out, they worked out. And they've been such a champion of ours from the beginning. So much so that Dave said, hey, I think we should do some type of event. We should do something together. They have local families in Choate that have children with autism, and they said, let's do something together. So which spawned us to think about what are some things that we can do here locally that we can continue to help more families. And so Build Strong was born. Build coming from their side, Strong coming from the Autism Strong side, and it's really going to be a festival for those that can celebrate autism, and we can raise more money for autism. We're gonna bring in some cornhole. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And that was, once again, it was supposed to be something that happened last October. It's going to happen this October. So it's super exciting to have our second big event. And I know that this one is just going to be the start of something that's really, really special, not only for Choate, but for the foundation, but also for the Charlotte community, to have another big event that's solely dedicated for those families that have special needs.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be like the biggest tailgate is the whole idea.
That's it. Yeah, South Park's biggest tailgate, or Charlotte's biggest tailgate.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I know there's also gonna be some. It's sensitive to families that have children with autism and other sensory needs, so they can come as well and not be overwhelmed by the crowds and the noises and all that. So
you bet.
So we're getting towards the end. Just a couple more questions. One is about how can you support Autism Strong Foundation, whether it's through the events or otherwise, if someone wants to donate money or time or participate in events.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And, I'm never a guy that's going to come out and ask people for money. I I want people to give out of the kindness of their heart because they want to give or what have you. So if you go to autismstrong.org, you can just generally donate there. We're always happy to get donations. If you own a business or you're involved in a business and you want to sponsor an event, once again, we have 2 big events coming this year, AMRAP for Autism being one in August, and then Build Strong being the other in October. Those are always, we're always looking for folks to sponsor, because ultimately, how do you get to be able to provide these services? It's by local businesses, it's by people donating their time, their money, and obviously their sponsorships. So those are a couple of different ways. But lastly, it's just come out to the event. I think come out to the AMRAP for Autism. If you can run, or you can walk, or you can do something from a workout perspective, you can do AMRAP for Autism. It is any skill level, it can come. We have kids heats, we'll have adult heats, and it's a lot of fun. And then if you just want to come out and you want to throw a cornhole bag, well, Build Strong is going to be your event, and you can come out there, and there's going to be tickets that are going to be on sale pretty soon for that. Once again, thinking about what's at the center of these events is helping families with special needs. When you think about that, and you think about what am I trying to accomplish here, you're helping families with special needs here in the local community. And that is just so important to my wife and I, and so important to why we do what we do. And I think is it Simon Sinek that says the best is people don't care what you do until they know why you do it. I think that's what we live by. And I think that's, we come home every single day to Landon, who has severe nonverbal autism, and we're reminded that we're not the only ones. There's so many families out there that have a child with special needs that they quite frankly need help. And really that's what we're here to do.
Well, you kind of touched on my last question, and it's a variation of what I always ask whenever I interview local business owners. I always ask, why is it so important to support local businesses? You're not a business per se, but why? And you have talked about this, but why is it so important to support a local organization like this, that's going to keep funds locally, as opposed to, not that they shouldn't support one that's a national organization, but why is it important to support these local groups?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, it's so important. I'm just such a big believer that the local community and the local businesses are woven into the fabric of really our day to day. So by supporting them, you're supporting their children. By supporting, their businesses, you're supporting their families, and especially those that have special needs. And it was the reason, like we talked about, why we started this nonprofit, because as good as it felt to write a big check to Autism Speaks, a great organization, we didn't get to see it locally here in the families. We didn't get to see and sit across the table while I'm handing, a check to a family that's hugging my neck and won't let go of my neck, and the tears in their eyes saying, your scholarship has helped my family stay together. That's what it was about. And that's why we started this. And that's why it's so important to support local businesses and support local, families, exactly what you're doing, because that's why we're here. And there really isn't a better answer than just saying, when you think about what's at the center of each of these local businesses, it's local people.
Yeah. Well, that was a great answer. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me today, so we can share the story of Autism Strong Foundation to other people throughout the Charlotte area. So thanks everybody for taking the time to watch this video as well. Look forward to seeing more interviews with people like Rudy and business owners and other people who are making an impact here in the Charlotte area. So thanks a lot. We'll see you soon on the next video. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Rudy. We'll see you soon.
Hey, guys.
All right.